Good afternoon. It's time to start gardening. Has he lost his mind? Look at the ground. No. Actually, it's February 18th or so it puts us right at 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost. So that means it's time to start some seeds. Welcome to our garden. When we bought the property, we knew one of the goals that we were going to have was to live off the land a little bit. It kind of goes with farmstead and homestead and all that stuff. Kind of what we're going for and why you guys are following. So we're going to take this area here, which is pretty close to the house, and convert it into our garden. As you can see in the back, we already have a chicken coop right there. It's not in the best shape, so it's going to need a little work before we get some animals in there. We also have another small pen over there, which we don't really know what that is or what we're going to do with it yet, but it's there. And my original plan, cut down a bunch of these trees back here and turn this into our garden, but it seems like a lot of work for this year. Maybe next year, maybe some other time, kind of harness the running water that's back there and I don't know, use it for irrigation, but we're not going to do that. We're going to convert this at one time dog kennel pen run thing and turn it into our garden. So the area that we have in here is already fenced in. It's about, I would say 30 by 20 or so. And while it is on a significant slope, I'm gonna go ahead and put some raised garden beds in here. And this is where we're gonna start growing our crops. Well, make an attempt at it. So while this area isn't exactly ready for really anything yet, we can get the crops started. We can get the seeds started. We bought a bunch of seeds of things that we would like to grow and eventually eat. And we bought a bunch of stuff on Amazon to kind of facilitate and make that happen. But it's freezing out here. And luckily, all that stuff goes on inside. And like any good recipe, it starts in the kitchen. So this is all the stuff that I got from Amazon, well, minus one thing that still needs to be delivered to get the seeds started. But before we even get into any of these gigahertz and doodads and what they do, we got to get our seed starting mix up and ready. Now, even though this is ready to use and it's sterile, there is one additional step that we have to do for this. It's very, very dry. And in order for us to get this ready to go, we have to moisten it. But instead of using just regular old room temperature tap water, it's been highly suggested that we go ahead and use boiling water so that we could kill any fungus, gnat eggs, or any sort of things that we don't want in here without using any pesticides. Just use some boiling water and get it hydrated with that. So I'm not really sure how much of this we should actually use because we've never done this before. So I guess I'll start with half of this bag. I don't know. I'm going with the boiling water method because I heard that you could put this in the oven and it would do the same thing that the boiling water does, except that your house then smells like soil for a while. And it's not exactly, that's not the kind of thing that would make Mrs. Oh, she doesn't have a name over here, Mrs. DC Picker. That's not the kind of thing that would make Ashley very happy. Making the house smell like dirt. Okay. Water from the boil. Let's start with that amount. Use this all-clad serving spoon. Everybody does their dirt with all-clad serving spoons, right? That's not even close. We better clean this off before she finds out. It's just dirt. I'm making dirt. It's plenty hot and plenty wet. Let's go take this to the sink before she finds out. Hide the evidence. So while we let the dirt cool off, it's a sentence I never thought I would say, I guess it's a good enough time to go over some of the things that we bought to get this going. Up here we have two different sets of grow lights. I used my DC Pickerness. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a link up there. To get these on the cheap. They were real cheap, like very, very cheap. So I'm expecting very, very cheap results. We'll see. They did have good reviews though, so we'll see. I'm not an expert. I know that there was some growers that say that they need specific kilowatts and gigawatts and things. These aren't even marked in what they have, so hopefully they work. The next thing up, right closer to you guys, I did get a heating pad that fits perfectly underneath the grow tray there. And then yes, right in front, right in the forefront, I got the thermostat as well. We are downstairs in the reselling room where generally speaking, roughly 65 degrees almost all day. These seeds need between 70 and 80 for germination. So we got the thermostat to take any of the guesswork out of it. I'll leave links down below if you're interested in getting into this. The one other piece that I did buy that isn't here yet is a timed power strip for the lights. It says that the lights, when things germinate and pop up, gonna need about 14 hours of light a day. I'm cool with that, but I don't wanna have to remember it all the time. Things happen and I don't wanna burn anything up or try to do anything wrong, so I bought a timer that the lights are gonna go on, but not the thermostat, because the thermostat should be, you know, a thermostat. But before it gets here, it should be here in a couple days. We'll just turn the lights on and off manually. It doesn't really need it. I understand that we got a couple of days before things start popping up, but you wanna be ready with the lights for when they do pop up. And now I understand that it's gonna be a couple of days before these things pop up. 3, 5, 7 days, 10 days, depending on what it is. But you want to be Johnny on the spot with the light. They say you don't want it to germinate and pop up out of the soil for no more than 24 hours before it gets some of that UV light on it. So I'm going to try to get everything all set up here and just keep them lit up. And don't get me wrong, Ashley has the saying where she likes crafting. She does a lot of crafting. And she says, well, why would you buy it for $7 when you can make it for $17? I'm fully aware that at least for the next couple of years, well, maybe at least the first year, I could just go buy a bag of potatoes for $2. Yeah, I would rather grow it for $70 worth of stuff so far. I'm sure it'll pay for itself after a while. We're just, this is that initial investment that we have to do to keep this thing going. So let's start setting stuff up. Let's start setting things up. So obviously the grow tray is the star of the show. So that's going to be front and center. This is only the 2-inch top little mini greenhouse version. I would have preferred the 7-inch, but it was out of stock until March 19th. So everybody wants to be a farmer these days, and you got to deal with it. It's hard getting seeds. It was hard. It's hard getting grow supplies. But this stuff, if you're willing to make the sacrifice, it's not the end of the world. All this means is that I just have to transplant them to a different pot a little bit quicker. I'm cool with that. I mean, I guess you get what you pay for. Let's see if I can't focus in here. First line, set up the thermostat. Insert the probe approximately 1 1/11 * into the rooting area. I don't know what that means. All right. Oh, it's alive. How do we get it from science to moon landing? Where'd those instructions go? I don't know what I did, but I got it. Okay, cool. So we want it, seems like everything's about 70. So it really doesn't have a long way to go. That's really only got to maintain 4 degrees. All right, so the soil has sufficiently cooled down enough. This is the layout that I'm going to go with. I got 12 columns, 6 rows, 72 spots. For this time frame, the time frame that we have before these things have to go in the ground, these are what I have that fits into that time frame. So cucumber, radish, dill, big Jim peppers, cherry tomatoes, peppers, butter crunch lettuce, beefsteak tomatoes, scallions, green onions, whatever you want to call them, peas, spinach, and cabbage. I'm kind of excited for the dill and the pickle and the cucumbers so we can make our own pickles. That's going to be awesome. Really just a salad mix at this point, not a whole lot of food. Those are going to be probably right when these are ready to come out of the tray in a couple of weeks. I have another batch of like the food, the squashes and things like that, that will be ready to take their spot in here. So let's get the dirt in here. And also, so I don't forget, I'm going to take a picture of the layout here so I remember what's what. Just going to smush them down a little bit, I think. Seems like something to do. Not really smashing it, just kind of, I don't know. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, like these are full and this isn't. It's like a big air bubble on the bottom. So I'm just kind of smush out that air bubble, make sure I'm making contact with the bottom of the tray so that we'll get some water to kind of leach up through this soil. And then the next layer I put on won't be as compacted. Cool. All right, well these are all sufficiently filled up. Hopefully that's good enough. Hope of hopes. What do I know? It looks like the pictures, right? That's all that matters. First one going in. Cabbage. Planting depth, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. That one in the middle's got 5. Don't tell nobody. Cool. What's next? Spinach. Peas. These are just peas. These are like the things that come in ramen. Where are you guys? These are just the peas that come in ramen. Next is scallions. Beefsteak tomato. We're Peter Luger's. Lettuce. What? Look at these things. What are we going with now? Bell pepper. Half-heartedly drives me crazy. Not really, being that, I only paid like 59 cents for these, but think about how many pepper seeds you've thrown away. When you cut a pepper, you're like, I don't want the insides and the white and the peppers, and now I'm paying for them. Cherry tomatoes, keeping the salad thing going. This isn't even covered. One, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, that's 4. Oh, we're gonna be swimming in tomatoes. Oh, jeez, that's 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Next is Big Jim chilies. Big fan of peppers. Oh, I'm gonna sink these 1/4 inch. So they're not really swimming, but there's enough to get into the weep holes in the bottom. Cool, okay. We're gonna put our temperature probe in. I don't know if this is right or wrong. In the middle. In the middle. All the way down here. Plug this guy in. Wait, what did we say? We wanted at 70, and it's at 76. Here we go. So the dirt was still warm, you know, from the boiling water. But we have it set at 70. That's our set point. And it's at 76. So saving electric right out of the chute. No need to turn that heating pad on. And just because I got this thing, I want to use it. Cool. We just wet it. A little bit more, never hurt nobody, right? I don't know. What do I know? All right, so cool. We're gonna put this on with a little lid on. Is this like a Chinese food container? Well, it doesn't look to be that tight, but that's okay, I think. Love it. All right, so we're in the farming business. Now what else do we have to do? So do we set up our grow lights? The minimum time, it said 3 days. I forget which one was 3 days. And the other ones were like 10 days. Some of them are 10 days. Give me 10 days to set the lights up. I'm not doing this. Not without reading the instruction first. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you like this kind of video and where we're going with the channel, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with people, let people know that you watched it. It's really, really appreciated on our part. Stay tuned. We're gonna ride this thing right to the end. We'll see how we do. Again, thanks so much for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one. It's always crooked. We should have named this place Crooked Farms. I've never actually walked back here before. Looks like they were trying to grow something here. I don't actually know. Birdhouse needs a little help. I'm ready. Let's do it. What is this, columns or rows?